Hello and welcome to Blondels Travels. In this video we are going to do a little introduction and telling you a little bit about ourselves and our story and why we are here on YouTube filming all of our travel adventures. I'm Charlotte.
And I'm Jack.
We're both 24 years old and we got married 1 year ago yesterday. Yesterday was our 1 year wedding anniversary, and as you can see we are in Paris right now
Celebrating.
which is fabulous. So far we have been to 24 different countries together, and this year we plan to add a lot more to that. We have lots of travel booked, lots of travel planned for the rest of the year, so we'll be visiting lots of new countries and cities, which we are very excited about. And we just decided that this year we wanted to film all of our adventures. We have filmed some travel vlogs in the past, but we just love looking back on them and having something to kind of remind us of those trips. So we decided this year we would start vlogging again and film all of our adventures to share online, but also for us to look back on. Currently we are living in the Netherlands on a 1 year working holiday visa. We have been there since September. We are just working at the moment with little trips like this in between, but in the summertime we have a 2-month trip planned all around Europe, which will be very exciting. We're visiting some countries that we've already been to, but new places in those countries, and then we're also visiting a ton of new countries. So it's going to be fabulous, it's going to be long, it's going to be amazing, and we're going to vlog absolutely all of it. So definitely stay tuned if you want to see all of that. And then on our way back to New Zealand at the end of the year, we have a little bit of travel in the works that we will probably do, kind of a slow trip back to New Zealand. So it's a long flight. We don't want to do it in one go, and don't want to get to New Zealand in the winter time or not in the summertime, because it's just not a great time to be there. So yeah, we're thinking of Bali maybe, which would be really cool. So we will be filming and vlogging everything. So don't forget to subscribe if you want to stay tuned with all of our travel adventures. Now to get into a little bit about us.
Well, I'm Jack. I'm from Guernsey in the Channel Islands, which is like a small island in between England and France in the English Channel. And I moved to New Zealand with my family back when I was 15, and that's where me and Sean met.
It is. I was born in New Zealand. My dad is from Switzerland. I'm currently in the process of getting my Swiss citizenship, which is pretty cool. But we both went to the same high school, and that is eventually how our love story began, through mutual friends, which is very cool. Not long after you moved to New Zealand, actually.
No.
So
Didn't even have time to settle in. From the beginning of our relationship, we've always shared a passion for travel, and for as long as we can remember, we've always wanted to travel, especially together. And
Definitely.
we did our first travel only like 6 months into our relationship, just a small trip across the ditch to the Gold Coast in Australia for Charlotte's 18th birthday, which was lovely.
it was amazing. Yeah.
Then 1.5 years into our relationship, Charlotte planned and booked a trip, an 8-week trip across Europe for the first time in summer. This was also when we just turned 18, so we're still obviously a bit nervous at this point of going around Europe, fairly young, still on our own, all the way from New Zealand. We planned this trip due to a family wedding back in Guernsey, where I'm from, and that is when our travelling experience began. We managed to pack heaps into this trip and immediately knew it wasn't going to be a one-off trip, and that we'd definitely be coming back to Europe especially, but just continue travelling in general.
Definitely.
Some of the highlights, I think, for that trip would have been Santorini, where that was the one place we really tried to enjoy. Stayed at a slightly nicer place, and that place was amazing. We loved Prague, Budapest, Cinque Terre on the Italian coast, obviously London and Amsterdam. There's plenty going on, and just the whole experience itself was very special.
Amazing.
At such a young age as well, to be honest.
Not long after getting back from our epic Europe summer trip, we decided to book a trip to Bali for my birthday in 2020, which was May. And unfortunately, because of COVID, that trip was cancelled, and we still haven't made it there yet, but as we said before, we are planning to visit this year, which will be amazing. We spent all of the COVID period in New Zealand, because in New Zealand the restrictions were pretty tough and the borders were completely shut basically for 2 years?
2.5 years.
Yeah, it was a while. Like, you couldn't travel in and out of the country unless you had like a certain reason.
Far
to.
too long.
And during that time we did make small road trips and travel around New Zealand a bit to the South Island, and we hired a camper van and drove up to the north a little bit, and we definitely explored New Zealand a bit more, which was absolutely amazing. But we were also very ready to travel internationally again and see more of the world. So once the borders opened, we were very excited. At the end of 2021 is when we booked our first international trip since COVID, and during this time it was actually still lockdown time, and everyone told us we were insane for booking a trip then and there. We booked a trip to the Maldives because we found this random deal come up and we were like, actually, why not? Let's do it. We booked it for April of 2022. So that was like maybe 5 months in advance we booked, and everyone was telling us we were insane and that we wouldn't be going and the borders would be shut and we would, that we were stupid and we wouldn't be able to go. But the borders ended up opening a week before our trip, so we did get to go. It was a little bit of a hassle, obviously, with like COVID documents and getting tests and all of that stuff, but we got there, we got home, and it was an absolutely amazing trip. That is where we got engaged as well. I think we vlogged it, didn't we? We did.
We did, yeah. That's the old
So if you
vlog.
want to see our Maldives trip, then just have a look at our channel and you'll find our Maldives vlogs. But it was such an amazing holiday and we had the best weather.
I think
was just
still
all around just the most insane week and the most beautiful place. So
we still classify it as our
beat it.
best holiday yet, I think.
Yeah, it was just all around an amazing holiday and would love to go back, and we will one day for sure.
And at the end of 2022, we went on a 5-week trip around the States and Europe. We started off in LA. We spent 5 days there before going 3 weeks in Europe and 5 days in New York on the way back.
Which also broke up the travel days for us a little bit because the flights to and from Europe, as we said before, are so long, and we're not ready to do that, so we decided to add a couple of stops in the US on the way there and back, and we hadn't been before, so it was our first time.
This trip was definitely something else, something very different, a very cool experience also, being able to incorporate the States with also Europe in winter. I'd never done we'd never done a Europe winter trip, and it was so good. You get to see the magic of like London during the snowstorm that they had there when we were at the Winter Wonderland, the Swiss Alps,
The Christmas markets.
all the Christmas markets, and the weather. We got so lucky with the weather of that trip. And then to top it off with New York on the way back, it's just a bucket list place that we'd been wanting to go, and also definitely will go back to, because New York is special.
And a lot of bucket list places on that
Yeah,
trip
the
as
whole
well.
trip obviously is too much to get into,
Very
but
cool.
to say we don't ski, we very much enjoyed the Swiss Alps.
During 2023, we decided we wanted to move from New Zealand to Australia, specifically the Gold Coast, and we planned a little trip over in October of 2023 for a week. We stayed in a really nice apartment, we hired a car, we just wanted to get a feel for the area, and we drove around a bit and sort of tried to decide like which areas we would want to live in if we did make the move. And we just had the most incredible week there, like soaking up the sun, and completely fell in love with the Gold Coast, and
The lifestyle.
definitely decided that it's the place for us, especially kind of at the stage of life we're at now, and the place we could see ourselves settling for a little while. Now you might be confused because we are living in the Netherlands right now and not in the Gold Coast, but we had an opportunity to come and live in Europe for 1 year and decided that we should take it, because this kind of opportunity to go and live on the other side of the world is not something that you can just go and do whenever you want. And we also thought that once we get to Australia, we'll probably want to settle down a little bit more, and then it will be a lot harder to do things like this.
These big trips,
So we'll more so just like, if in 5 years we're like, oh, we want to go and live in Europe, it's going to be a lot harder than it is now. So we had no
nothing holding us
responsibilities,
back.
nothing holding us back. So we just decided, why don't we go and do this now? Get this year under our belt, like lots more travel, lots more experiences, living in a foreign country, and then the Gold Coast is always going to be there. It's always going to be there. So once we are finished up with this 1 year living in the Netherlands, we will be moving to the Gold Coast, and we're very excited, and we definitely feel like the Gold Coast is the place for us, and we can't wait to experience life there as well.
And in February 2024, that's when we got married in Auckland. It was just the most beautiful day. The weather turned out for us as well, almost a bit too much, because it was hot that day.
Very. We were all sweating.
And then 3 days after that, we wanted to keep everything very intimate, so we thought we'd go straight onto our honeymoon rather than a lot of people just drag it out. But personally for us, we just thought, let's go there straight away.
Yeah.
Whilst we're still in that sort of
Love bubble.
that love bubble. We stayed at Tokariki Resort in the Mamanuca Islands in Fiji. It was a very intimate resort, very small, adults only, had great facilities, and the staff and everything was incredible. The food was amazing. It changed every day, the menu.
We ate so well.
Ate so much. The rooms, we actually got upgraded. So that was super lucky. We got one of the best villas possible, and had our own pool and our own huge villa, and it was just amazing. That was the best week relaxing after a wedding you could ask for. That was
definitely one of the best places to spend a honeymoon, for sure.
Would definitely recommend going there.
After our honeymoon, we made the big decision to come and live in the Netherlands for 1 year. And as New Zealand citizens, Jack is also a New Zealand citizen now, we could very easily get a 1 year working holiday visa. It was super cheap and super easy to apply for, and there wasn't a whole lot of criteria needed. You just had to be between 18 and 30, I believe. So we fit that criteria. And also our best friend is living in the Netherlands, so it was nice and easy. We are able to live with her, so we're currently living with her. So that just made the situation a lot easier, a lot nicer, and also it's nice that we have someone here with us. So it's not as scary, and all the initial setup things, it was just so smooth, it was great. And being based in the Netherlands has obviously given us a lot more opportunities to travel Europe and see some places that we haven't seen before. Like we went to Tromsø, which was amazing, and things like that. So we've had a lot of opportunity to go on smaller trips and see other parts of Europe that maybe we wouldn't do on a bigger trip necessarily.
And to be just 2.5 hours away or whatever on the Eurostar to here in Paris is
crazy. It's amazing.
It's rather than getting on our usual 20 however long hour flight
30 hours or something
from New Zealand. This is so good. We have lots more travel planned for 2025, both within Europe and abroad.
We will be spending around 2 months over the summer visiting Italy, a lot of the Balkan countries, Greece and Portugal, which is very, very exciting. We've been to Italy and Greece before, but this time we're adding in a bunch of new places in those countries that we haven't been to, which will be very, very cool. And we're also going to be making a few stops on the way back to New Zealand, as we said earlier, and that's going to be amazing. Again, new destinations, and we also may be able to squeeze in a little bit more, but we'll see how we go.
Thank you for watching, thank you for supporting us, and we're glad to have you here, and we hope you enjoy coming along with us on these adventures as much as we enjoy going on them with the two of us, and we shall see you soon.
Yes, we'll see you in all of our upcoming travel videos. Bye!
Goodbye!